Broadcasting, management, or its sponsors.
It's time to talk everything entertainment, sports, wrestling, movies, and more. The Vincent LaSpada Show, brought to you by LaSpada's original cheesesteaks and hoagies on Florida Man Radio.
And it's that time again. It's Sunday afternoon, 2 p.m. It's the Vincent LaSpada Show. I'm your host, Vincent LaSpada. Alongside is I got a room full of people here. I feel like this is the White House, and we're blowing up with video, audio. But listen, I gotta introduce my panel. Niko, are we at 1 million followers?
I wish, man. We're close. We're getting there.
On the side of him, to my right, is Long Island Mike C. What's going on, bud?
Great to be here, and it's a special day when we have the top 1% here.
Oh,
EC3 is in the building, man. I am so glad you joined us today. What's going on, my friend?
Well, first up, the top 1% has been brutally executed many years ago.
I'm glad I didn't say that.
Brutally. I mean,
It's his narrative, let him go.
dragged over coals, decapitated, destroyed, gone forever. The essential character remains in the remnants, and I'm damn happy to be here. Real better to be on a Sunday afternoon with Big V wearing sunglasses.
Big V, I like that. Big V.
Sunglasses indoors. You know what my dad says about guys that wear sunglasses indoors?
What's that?
Calls them assholes. My dad, EC2. That's not me.
EC2.
We're friends here, especially because
is that word allowed, Heather? That word's allowed. We're
the
good.
dump button.
We're good.
We're friends, especially because you're gonna help me promote some interesting stuff.
It's gonna be a good partnership. I have a feeling it's gonna be. Man, I gotta get right into it, man. You got the internet and the wrestling world buzzing. With Control Your Narrative. Tell me exactly what it is. Is it a combination of fighting and wrestling? Or I mean, is it
You've
just
got
wrestling?
us all kind of in limbo of what it is, because we know there's WWE and AEW, but like, what's Control Your Narrative?
Control Your Narrative is a mindset. It was an idea. It was the idea I happened when you mentioned the top 1%.
Right.
Kind of lost it all. He went away. He was destroyed. Through the pandemic, life became hard and difficult for a lot of us, right? You know, everyone had trials or tribulations, trial by fire, so to speak. We developed a mindset, control your narrative, and that's to tell your story. So I know this is not an elevator pitch, this is long form.
No, we want to hear it. We want to hear it. Give it to us.
So control your narrative. As I was released from WWE, I had 90 days to create something new, unique, 90 days to become who I wanted to be. And that is what you see before you now, the essential character EC3. Through the powers of social media, I know you have TikTok going over here, you have Instagram, he's over there on MySpace, Facebook Live. We got it all cooking here today, but through social media, you have this opportunity to be able to talk to people straight. So I was able to tell my story. WWE didn't really tell my story. I wasn't even allowed to speak. And imagine that, look how good I do on the radio here, right? I'm like, fantastic. So each and every week I was coming out with promos sort of to say, hey, this is what I'm going to be, this is who I'm going to become. I had no inclination of which company I was going to go to. Would it be an AEW? Would it be an Impact? Would it have been Ring of Honor? At the same time, it didn't matter because nobody knew what was happening. Were there even going to be companies in 90 days? Was there even going to be a world? Would it be a post-apocalyptic hellish landscape where I'm hunting boar in the streets? I don't know. But I was going to find out. So through Control Your Narrative and being able to tell my story, we start doing promos. 90 days is coming up. What are you going to do? I don't know if you know this about corporate wrestling world, but once you enter that realm, you might have some freedom, but you don't have total freedom. So what I wanted to do was show the world who I was in the ring. So I created what they called a cinematic match at the time, but I didn't want to do a cinematic match that was full of dump button ready. Bullshit. Thank you. I wanted to do something that was real, gritty, raw, and in the vein of Fight Club, right? So, film my own cinematic match. My partner, JC, he's the narrator through the narrative, and we decided to keep this going. So many people, like talents, fans alike, were catching on with the sort of movement to be able to tell your story. The fight for control, freedom, and purpose, that we made an entire feature called Free the Narrative. From Free the Narrative, we put that on Fight TV. It was whatever. I had Matt Cardona. We'd had this great little story. I threw toys in his face. Thumbtack. I don't know. But through Free the Narrative, I even took a guy like Matt Cardona, who now became something new, more unique, different. He's the king of the indies.
Right.
Never in a million years would you think it.
GCW champ.
Yeah, sure. I would never would have thought about that.
But through the process of self-evaluation, assimilation, the attempt to do something new and different, he became who he was supposed to be. And he's an asshole too, but I love him. He's doing fantastic. So this found inspiration in other sports entertainers, wrestlers, especially those controlled by these said corporations. The creative freedom they don't have. Some of the most miserable millionaires you will ever meet reside within corporate wrestling. One of those was a friend of mine, Adam Scherr, who came to the Narrative's office, mentioned, someday I would love to create this. I would love to be a part of this. This is intriguing to me. I haven't watched wrestling in completion, but I was up all night watching this, thinking about what it could be. And I'm like, if that bridge ever happened, if that road ever opened, of course, whatever. We'll see what happens. Next day, boom, fired. Whoa. It's like happenstance, right?
He literally talked to you the day before.
The day before.
Wow.
The day before.
And he's a huge star. I mean, at this point, I mean, he's one of the big, and free agent wise, like he's the very top of the pinnacle as far as people that every single company wants to acquire.
Yeah.
So to have him
a bona fide WrestleMania main event.
Absolutely, any day of the week, and to have him with you is really exciting.
It's funny you say that because one of my questions on my pad here is when you were in the main roster and you were doing your run, what was like the nail in the coffin for you to where you were sitting there going, man, I can feel this going south. Like I'm sitting back here, I'm drinking out of a red Solo cup, like I'm empty, and it's like, listen, I'm gonna tell you, between me and you, EC3, I'm gonna tell you, you're very talented, and I'm gonna tell you what, you were the face of Impact. You were.
Oh, absolutely.
To me, you were the face of Impact, and every week you brought it 100%.
5
even
years.
listen, even NXT when we used to go to Full Sail, you were it.
I had the people holding the thing. Yeah.
You were it, man. I'm telling you what. I feel like you were bigger.
You are
than-
the man.
honestly, I like Adam Cole, and I think Adam Cole is a great wrestler. But you had that crowd by your hand, and when top 1% came on, it was it. Like people knew, like they're gonna get a show.
Were you watching the internet when you saw in the back and you weren't getting the exposure you should be getting? Were you seeing the internet kind of react to this is complete waste of talent?
In a sense, but it's very
Because I know
easy.
I was unloading on Twitter and all those.
It's very easy to also not be fooled, but to validate your own opinions via finding the right feedback on the internet. So for every person, especially when I launched the idea of CYN getting a TV deal, who says we suck and we're the worst ever, they don't know yet, and that's okay, and that's how you react to things that are different. But at the same time, a lot of people saying this is going to be awesome. I have a lot of work to do to make it awesome, but you can easily validate what you're feeling by looking at the internet. So I try not to. I like feedback, but I don't want to be like, retweet. Yeah, I'm buried. That's...
I see it. I'm a social media influencer, and I'm on the internet. And
500,000 TikToks.
I know, man. And when I see you on there and see that you're not being utilized right, and by the way, CYN, I'm also seeing that buzz right now all over. Everyone's like, what exactly is this?
You don't know. And you know what?
That's the
Wrestling
beauty of
fans,
it.
The beauty of it, but wrestling fans hate the unknown.
They do.
Oh, I love it.
They want Dave Meltzer to report it right now. What's going on?
What's-
Who's everyone on your card? They want to know.
What's he said about it? Nothing, probably, because he doesn't know, because no
Love
one's
it.
stooging off. No one's saying anything.
I love it.
And I think that's what's missing in this industry is surprise. We don't have that anymore.
I tell you what, one thing I've been watching, I watched Final Battle a couple times, and I love when you came out and said, anyone listening from any company, we are here to take back the industry and rebuild. So let me get this straight. You want to make sure that all the wrestlers out there that have not been used correctly that you're going to idolize them and control your narrative, because I feel like this could be a top contender for AEW, for WWE.
I want all talent to know that the opportunity is there. Because just because they're going through what they feel they may be going through, maybe they aren't good enough too. Maybe I wasn't good enough at WWE. We can't just blame everybody else. You have to take accountability for yourself. The only thing you can react to is what happens to you. You can't change what happens to you. You can't predict what's going to happen to you. It's all how you react to what happens to you. So for a line like that, yeah, the door is open for anyone to knock, to seek opportunity. I want to facilitate a place where they too can get what I got, a cathartic release, by them controlling their narrative, being able to tell their story. It might suck. It might be awesome.
There's no way it's going to suck with you, Adam, Scherr, and Killer Kross. It's just, it's absolutely impossible that
And
that
growing.
show is going to suck.
But just remember,
Well,
this
that's
is
the
not
show
an
itself.
invasion. It's not an invasion.
It's an awakening.
An awakening. And I love this line because your first event is called Awakening. It's on March 5th. It's on a Saturday night.
Right here in
Right here in
Orlando.
Orlando.
Tin roof.
And my
One of the
question.
hottest spots in Orlando.
So before we get to the promotion, I want to talk about when you made your debut in Ring of Honor. Is this a signed contract or is this just a movement where they give you a platform and a spot to come and control your narrative?
The original, when I first started there,
When you
it was
debuted.
kind of let's see what happened. So it was definitely a forum. It was two-pronged attack because I desperately did need to see if honor was real, which was the message I had through Ring of Honor. Is honor real? Yada yada. But at the same time, I knew through there I can continue to work on what I'm developing over here. Control your narrative, and then I think they would intersect. They would be intersect. He's got to work for it. Intertwined is good enough. So yeah, keeping them together. But the idea was to, yes, I'm going to push their brand. I'm going to go forward. Yes, I want to be the Ring of Honor champion. Well, at the same time, I have carte blanche to create over here, control your narrative, and what it will become.
We have 2 minutes left until the end of this segment. I got one question to ask you. Is
I can finish what I am.
go ahead.
we have more segments.
We have more
don't worry.
segments. What is one thing that you think that the wrestling world today is lacking?
Storytelling.
Storytelling.
Storytelling with depth, feeling, and emotion. Storytelling that results in moments. I remember what made me a fan were like certain moments and the emotion I felt. Wasn't the moves, wasn't the titles, so to speak, unless the victory, overcoming the odds, was the moment. It was just something innate you felt inside that I think is not replicated, because I do think our industry has a tendency to do what they think they should do as opposed to what they want to do. Everybody's doing the same thing. I understand the fear in not following the mold because you're open to criticism, complaints, critiques. Plus, as we talked about social media, they're right there for you to read. Every damn word of them, you can see someone talking about you like that. Having the ability to let that slide and become who you're supposed to be, create what you want to, is a difficult road, but it's a road well traveled.
Well, listen, when we come back here on the Vincent Laspada Show, we're going to get more back into EC3. Plus, if you want to talk to the man of the hour, EC3, give me a call. 321-339-1055. Text or call in. You listen to the Vincent Laspada Show right here on the Florida Man Radio Network.
We started real good.